Now this time when I went to Hong Kong to take care of the funeral arrangements for my mother. And one time the three of us, the whole family together with the 3 kids, we went to a bookstore. And we saw some ball pens. And some names were written on the front. And one had the name Sarah written on it. I asked Sarah to come. I told Sarah, take a look at this. This pen has got your name on it. And she was very happy. So she bought one of the pens. My eldest Priscilla went to look as well. Now she couldn't find the name Priscilla. So she didn't buy any. Isaac went to take a look too. There was no Isaac on the pens either. But later on, Isaac bought one of the pens. And I was very amazed. Isaac, there's no Isaac there. And he said, yeah, I found one. Let me take a look. And he showed it to me. And it wasn't Isaac that was written on the pen. You know what was written on the pen?
B-O-S-S, boss.
B-O-S-S, boss.
我突然間第次，
And then I discovered something.
人都愛做頭家。
People, we all love to be boss.
I am my boss.
I'm my boss.
我就是我嘅頭家。
I'm my own boss.
三歲時候呢，80歲嘅時候呢。
Well, 3 years old are like that, and 80 years old are like
有
that
人
as well.
講 terrible 2 or terrible 3。
Well, some people talk about terrible 2 or terrible
你
3.
知緊係冇？
You know why?
因為見到人三歲嘅時陣，
You know, young children, when they're like 2 or 3 years old,
開始冇乜聽吹，
they start to be disobedient.
頂巴就真乖啊！
Used to be that they were very obedient.
有人嚟叫 auntie，
And somebody comes and you say to him that call
Auntie.
auntie. And then he will say auntie.
叫 uncle，uncle，
Call uncle. And he'll say
好
uncle.
啦，當人三歲嘅時陣，
When she's like 2 or 3 years old,
叫 uncle，
you say uncle. And he would say no.
叫 auntie，
Call auntie. And he would not do it.
唔插呢度啊！
He would ignore you.
啊，你講嘢冇怪咯，冇怪咯。
And you say that he's being disobedient.
你知咩原因冇？
You know what is the reason?
當這見到人三歲嘅時陣，
When a child is 2 or 3 years old,
一開始好笑咯，
he starts to have his own reasoning.
一開始問這個問題，
He starts to ask a question.
我有家己主意啊，
I have my own will or
真係我
decision.
特別聽你講話啊，
Why should I always listen to you?
你叫我講，我跳個冇俾講，
And you tell me to say, then I will intentionally not say.
我是 I'm my boss，
Because I am my boss.
我家己我是頭家啊，
I am the boss of
我
my
聽你
own
講話啊。
life. Why should I listen to you?
所以講 table 2 and 3，
So we say the terrible 2 or 3.
這是 human，
This is human.
難道愛做家己頭家？
We all want to be our own boss.
三歲到80歲都要相款，
From 3 years old up until we're 80 years old, we're all the
將
same.
你嘅主管教出來，無限容易，無限簡單。
Now, it is not that easy to entrust your lordship.
但是
But
你愛進步，
if you want to
你
improve,
家嘅生命愛成熟，
if you want your own life to grow to
你嘅
mature,
教會、你嘅厝內愛美好，
and if you want to have a beautiful church, a beautiful home,
你需要將你嘅主管交給上帝。
you need to submit your lordship to God.
真最理整，
Many years ago,
我聽阿 Peter 鄧主講一個 message。
I heard Peter Tanchi spoke on a message.
迄陣呢 CCF 差不多已經有4個千嘅人，
During the time, CCF was around 4,000 to 5,000 people.
伊講伊及上帝祈禱，
And he said he prayed to God.
伊講上帝啊，
God, he said,
我嘅教會已經有4個千人咯，
I've already got 4,000 to 5,000 people here in my
人真
church.
多咯。
I've got a lot of people now.
錢也是真多
And
咯，
we've got a lot of money.
名聲也是未歹
And
咯。
we've got our fame as well.
我要做什麼啊？
So what else should I
你我
do?
裝啥大事啊？
What else do you want me to do?
後來伊甲伊講，
And later on he said
用
himself,
上帝啊，
says, God,
我將我教會完全交給你，
I submit our church to you completely.
你愛做什麼，你去做什麼。
Do as you please.
我感覺上帝聽到這個祈禱，
And I felt that God indeed answered that prayer.
上帝祝福這間教會。
God blessed that church.
CCF 就係一間得着人嘅教會，
CCF became a church that fishes for men.
關 CBCB 嘅教會，
May the church at CBCP
所以一間得着人嘅教會。
become a church that fishes for men as
公
well.
元2000年嘅時
In
陣，
the year 2010,
我這個 survey
there is a survey.
at this moment 參加在會裏邊嘅華年教會人
There was a survey in the year 2000 that the people, the attendance among Chinese churches in the Philippines was around 10,000 people. It's now 20 and 10. And if concerning the Chinese who join, if we include the Chinese who attend Filipino churches, perhaps we would have around 20,000 people. Do you know how many Chinese there are in the Philippines?
2.5 million.
There are at least around 2.5 million. And that includes the about 500,000 new immigrants from China. And if there are only 20,000 people that are attending Sunday worship services,
maybe just 1%.
It's just 1%.
There are
99% of Chinese who don't go to church and who aren't believers in Christ. Isn't this our work? So may God help us. So we just submit our lordship of our church to Christ, so that our church will be a church that fishes for men. And third, the church needs to grow to mature, and the church must grow deep as well. In verse 4, when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch." Why does he have to go into deep water? Because in the deep water are many fish. Because in the deep water are many large, big fish. If you want to catch a lot of people, you need to go to deeper places. What did Peter say? He says, "Master, we've worked hard all night and we haven't caught anything." What he's saying was that I am very tired. There is no fish tonight. But because you say so, then we'll do that. And as a result, they were able to catch such a large number of fish. The church needs to go deeper. The church needs to go to deeper places. Our spiritual lives must go to deeper places. And if you don't strive, you will not grow. You know what? Our good neighbor, Mr. Lim, when he offered his house to us, his price was a little bit higher. So we were having some negotiations. And he said something to me. And I was shocked. You know what he said? He says, "Pastor, you have to strive harder for the church. As a pastor, you have to strive harder." I said, "What should I be striving for?" You buy my house, my land, expand your church, so that there will be more people who will come to your church. While you are still young, you have to strive harder for God. And I was shocked. I was taken aback, and this wasn't a Christian, and he was telling me to strive harder for God. Of course, he was trying to offer his house to us. But I thought about it. And I said that if as a young man I don't strive harder for God, what if I'm already old? You know, when we compare a young pastor with an old pastor, a young church with an old church, what is the difference?
Average.
Now I'm just talking on the average.
Individual.
I'm not talking about individuals. On the average, younger pastors, younger churches, they love to strive more. Older churches and older pastors, they don't like to strive that hard anymore. They don't want things to happen. The best thing is to happen is when everything is smoothly, that you just go from one year to another.